President Donald Trump campaigned on promises to drain the swamp in Washington, which was his way of saying it was time for corrupt political officials to go.
For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. That all changes starting right here and right now.
But since taking office, Trump has struggled as members of his own administration have been caught in the types of controversies he campaigned against, and that could influence the choices voters make in November.
I think ethics in government is definitely one of those issues that can cause voters who otherwise would vote for one party to switch on a dime.
A number of prominent members of Trump's inner circle have resigned amid accusations of corruption, and some are now facing criminal charges. It began with Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price, who stepped down in September 2017 after he spent more than $1 million in taxpayer money on private flights for himself and his wife. A month later, former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort was arrested for money laundering and bank fraud. In March of 2018, Secretary of Veterans Affairs David Shulkin was fired after allegations he misused taxpayer money to travel. Later in July, EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt resigned over multiple spending scandals. And in August, Congressman Chris Collins, one of Trump's earliest supporters and member of the presidential transition team, was arrested for insider trading. Trump's political opponents have been quick to seize on the growing list of ethics issues. Shortly after Collins was arrested, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee released a statement saying, "For all Republicans' talk of draining the swamp, they are finding it all but impossible to avoid associations with corruption, misconduct, and pay-to-play politics that Americans are sick of." But anti-corruption isn't a message that Democrats can own entirely. These scandals are not confined to one party. Congressman Keith Ellison has been accused of domestic violence twice, though he denies the allegations. Senator Bob Menendez was indicted for corruption charges in 2015, though his trial ultimately ended in a hung jury. And Senator Al Franken resigned over sexual misconduct last year.
That cloud is hanging over the Democratic Party's head, too, but we haven't seen on the Democratic side in the past 2 years quite the crush of corruption-related accusations, allegations that have come on the Republican side, and not just on the Republican side writ large, but on the Republican side with people who are very, very close to Donald Trump.
When it comes to scandals and alleged corruption, there's no clear way to predict how voters will react. And the president, who has faced his own controversies surrounding business dealings and potential campaign ties to Russia, stands at a 42.2% approval rating.
Voters are continually shopping for people who are going to bring better ethics to the table in governing. And probably, if anything, the fact that there are swings back and forth indicates that they don't feel that they're adequately getting that from either party.